Hi Ram, congratulations. Welcome back to CLATapult.
Thank you.
How have you been, and why don't you start with introducing a bit about yourself?
Hey, I'm Ram. I got AIR 334 in CLAT 2025, and I'm currently looking at NLU Jodhpur or NUGS as the
Yeah,
NLUs that I'll be going to.
that's amazing. So, it has been quite some time since you started your
Yeah.
preparation for CLAT. So, how has your journey been like? With both times that you wrote CLAT,
Yeah.
how have you seen any changes in your preparation strategy or your journey?
Yeah, definitely. So the journey, it's definitely been tough, but
Mm.
it's also been very interesting. I developed a lot as a
Yeah.
person. Before I started studying for CLAT, I did not really know anything about the world around me.
Yeah.
But ever since I started reading like newspapers
Mm.
and started doing GK and all these things, I really genuinely think I developed as a person. So yeah,
Yeah, I think you go through a huge transformation phase
definitely.
in your 11th to the by the
Yeah,
time you come to a
yeah.
college. So much happens that
Yeah.
you change as a person.
Yeah.
Right. So, how did you decide on taking CLAT as something that you want to pursue? And how did you think that, okay, I want to do law and I want to become a lawyer?
So I always found law to be very interesting. I was not necessarily interested in the traditional fields
Okay.
like NEET JEE, and like I was also not interested in commerce, although I took commerce as a stream in 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
So a relative of mine actually suggested CLAT. I had a family friend who cleared the exam.
Okay.
So she recommended that it's a good field.
Mhm.
And at that point in my life, I was actually trying to run away from maths.
Yeah.
So I saw the paper pattern of CLAT and I
Right.
saw maths is
Very minimal
very minimal.
section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that's doable. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is when I actually started studying for CLAT, I started studying law subjects. I really found it to be very interesting. So I think I fell in love with law after I started preparing for
Yeah.
CLAT. That is something which
That
happened with
happens
me.
with a lot of students.
Yeah.
Like you only get to know more about the field
Yeah.
once you have delved
Yeah,
into it. So you figure out
definitely.
that okay, I'm sure like that I like it.
Yeah.
And I think it happened at the right time for you because a lot of students just realize that oh, this is not working for me. I don't
Right.
want to do CLAT anymore.
Yeah.
And you have no idea how many students just give up. I mean, you might have an idea, but so
Yeah.
many students just give up midway in
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
preparation that
Yeah.
we
If their
can't do
mock
this.
scores plateau or
Yeah,
something like that.
that happens. But okay, so when you decided on pursuing CLAT,
Hmm.
how did you entrust um, in the process? As in, how did you strategize initially, and
Hmm.
how has your strategy changed till this time's CLAT?
Right. So I'll be brutally honest. I
Hmm.
started out in class 11th.
Yeah.
So when I was in 11th, I wasn't serious at all with my prep. So I
Okay.
used to like maybe read a newspaper once a week
Oh.
and do, which is not good, by the way. Don't follow that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't follow that.
Hmm.
But I got a little serious when I was in 12th.
Yeah.
So after that, I started like choosing the subjects that I have to do every day. So I used to do two sectionals in a day. I used to do GK for an hour, and I used to read the newspaper, and I used to do maths compulsorily. So
Okay.
I used to follow the schedule, and yeah, that was it. And then later on, I started focusing on revising GK and more on maths
Yeah.
because after a point, there was only so much I could improve in the reading sections.
Yeah.
I was already getting like almost full in English, so there was nothing extra that I could do. But I was
Okay.
focusing on vocab, and I used to target the sections
Hmm.
where there is a scope for improvement, which was
Yeah.
definitely GK, logic, and maths for me. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you figured out your strengths and
right,
weaknesses, and then you
definitely.
started targeting your
Yeah,
weaknesses
targeted
more.
practice was it for
Yeah.
me.
And then also it generally helps to re-strategize based on how you're
Definitely.
scoring in mocks
Yeah.
to be a bit flexible with your
Right.
preparation. That would have worked for you.
Mm-hmm.
But coming to your subjects,
Mm-hmm.
you said you could figure out your strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of your strengths and weaknesses, and even taking into account your strengths and weaknesses, how did you individually prepare for each of the sections? And
Right.
if there were specific resources that you think were very helpful for you?
Definitely. So with English, I was always good at English
Hmm.
because I was an ICSE kid and I used to
Yeah.
read books. So English wasn't that tough for me.
Hmm.
So it came naturally almost. I just used to do sectionals. With logic, that was something foreign. That was a new
Yeah.
concept for me. and legal, but like I used to find logic very foreign, but after I don't know when it just clicked to me that it's simply an extension of English.
Yeah.
Kind of.
No,
So
that's
yeah,
right. A lot of students do relate English and logic
right,
in a
right, right.
sense. Yeah.
So the essence of English and logic for me is that you have to understand the passage completely.
Yeah.
If you understand the crux of the passage, you will be able to answer all the questions. Even if you
Yeah.
don't know the theory, like what is the conclusion, what's the premise, if you understand the passage, you can solve the answers, the questions. So I would recommend reading books which are a little out of your league. Read editorials and like read random articles, gain as much knowledge, gain new vocab.
Right.
So I think that is it for English and logic. For legal, do theory, like like get used to the words,
Yeah.
study some
Jargon
maxims.
of it.
Yeah, the maxims, do all that. And I spent a semester at Symbiosis Law School, Pune,
Okay.
where torts, contracts, Indian legal system were a subject.
Okay.
So I got used to that.
The
Yeah, yeah,
words of it, the principles
yeah.
of it, and how
Right,
does
right,
law really work? Because initially you have no idea what
right,
law
right.
is, and
Yeah,
you just take it to be theory
right.
as it is. But there are so many tests, and once you get the grasp of how do these tests apply and what are the elements and how do you adjudge an element, you become familiar with it.
Definitely, yeah.
Right. So that was your strategy for legal. You just
Definitely.
familiarized yourself with a
Yeah.
lot of subject like jargon and words
Yeah.
and the principles, I'm guessing.
The principles, yeah.
So,
And also like practice. That
yeah.
goes without saying. Do
Hmm.
sectionals, do mocks, definitely.
Right.
And even if you plateau at some point, because you'll definitely plateau, just look out, don't get disheartened, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're talking about mocks a lot.
Right.
Generally, so many students advise like CLAT aspirants to do a lot of mocks and to keep on attempting mocks. So how did that work out for you? Were you someone who attempted a lot of mocks?
I definitely attempted a lot of mocks, but the thing is, the score isn't as important as much as the analysis and the reattempt. I would definitely tell you to reattempt and analyze your mocks. And even if you get a low score in mocks, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get a low score in the actual paper
Right.
or you'll get a high score in the actual paper. I know a lot of people used to get like high 90s, early 90s, but they couldn't score that well in the actual paper. So even if you get low scores in mocks, don't get disheartened. It's fine. Generally, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because the GK might be different, the English might be different, the maths might be different, whatever. So for with mocks, I would definitely say do a mock a week in the initial stages of your prep, and by the end of it, do like 2 mocks a week.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So, you said that don't take the scores very seriously. I think I would agree with you on that. There's, I think the focus should be on the preparation part
Right,
of it,
definitely.
and then I don't think it's so relevant or necessary to look at the scores as such,
Yeah,
but more so look at the mistakes you have made so that you can
definitely.
do better and analyze
Yeah,
them
I
better.
completely agree.
But yeah, you also mentioned something about reading and how you used to read something that you're not familiar with. So, how would you tell students or tell us that reading and what sort of reading is very crucial for the exam?
Right. So the sort of reading I used to do is because I used to read like literature like Harry Potter and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was always good at reading. I would recommend read articles, read books which are a little out of your current like comprehension, basically. Like read complicated books, a little complicated, not very complicated. And like whatever new words you find, like try to know the meaning and like read random articles online. Like there's a website called Aeon, I think, which is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or other websites. Just read like articles and stuff.
I think it's more about incorporating the habit of
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
in your day-to-day life so that when you get the exam, you think this is just any other thing that I'm
Yeah, yeah,
reading.
yeah.
It's just like that. So that generally helps. But how has your CLAT journey been in the last, say, 1 month of preparation?
So the last month of preparation, I was pretty chill because I knew my mock scores.
Yeah.
And I was confident in my prep. I knew that I was ready for this paper. And so last month of prep, I would recommend just revise all the GK that you have done. Only do like the important topics that maybe you missed out. But other than that, just revise your notes. Do maths, as much maths as you can possibly, and just do mocks. That's it.
So you are harping a lot on maths. How did your maths on the day of exam go?
Not as planned.
Yeah.
Not
So
as planned.
tell us about it.
So definitely, I did logical just before maths.
Oh,
So I
so
saw
you
the
probably saw
analytical,
that
yeah, that weird
sentence.
analytical passage I saw, and that caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, fine, I'll do maths. I think I attempted 9 questions out of the 12.
Yeah, that's a good, really
Yeah,
good
yeah.
attempt for maths.
Yeah. So I attempted 9 out of 12. I don't remember my marks necessarily, but I got most of them right.
For somebody who just told me that maths was one of your weaknesses and
Yeah,
you took
definitely.
CLAT to not focus on
Yeah,
maths,
yeah,
you attempted a good number of questions on maths. That means
yeah.
you genuinely focused
On
on
maths, yeah,
improving your weakness that was
definitely.
maths.
Because
That's
like,
quite
see,
impressive.
the thing is, a lot of people are scared of maths. That's why they choose CLAT. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people in my circle,
Mm.
that's why they choose to do law because they want to run away from
Yeah.
maths. But the thing is, the maths that comes in CLAT is very easy.
Yeah.
It's like class 10th level, and you have to understand that when you're in 10th, maybe you found it hard, but now
Yeah.
you're in like higher grades. You're in 12th, maybe you're in your drop year. So now is the time to do that. Like your ability to solve maths has also improved.
Right.
So definitely do maths. I would not recommend leave maths at all.
Yeah.
Especially it's a 120 question paper now. So
And risking those 10
yeah,
to
yeah,
12 questions is a huge risk.
yeah. I don't think
Hmm.
if you're leaving maths, you're not a serious aspirant.
Right.
Definitely.
You have to account for all the sections,
Definitely.
no matter how big or small they are. Right. So why don't you tell us a bit about how did the day of exam go and how were you the night before? Did you study a lot? Did you study till 4? And what was your reaction like while you were writing the exam?
So the day before the exam, I remember. So I'll just give some context. I gave CLAT 24, did not score that well, then gave CLAT 25. So I was in Symbiosis Law School
Yeah.
Pune for 6 months for a sem. So I had my sociology paper, my end sem the very next day after CLAT.
Oh.
So CLAT was on, I think, 8th, right?
Okay,
So
right.
on 9th, I had my sociology end sem. So the day before CLAT, I was just studying sociology.
Right.
And the night before, I think I slept at 2, slept very peacefully.
Yeah.
The center was close by.
Hmm.
I just kept a cool mind, went with my friends, just had some tea before the paper, and just gave it without thinking much, just with a cool mind. And I think that's why I made it. So nerves matter a lot. I know
Yeah.
people who were in their complete like drop years without any college, and they were so nervous. And like
Yeah.
12th graders were so nervous. So the thing is like you prepare for the set paper. You have this idea of the paper in your mind. And if the actual paper is any different from that, you get so scared. Like I know a lot of people who, when they saw the analytical passage, they got so scared
Yeah.
they couldn't continue after that.
And then they wasted a lot of time and then
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just lost hope. Because
Yeah.
if you wasted 20 to 25 minutes on a single set of
Yeah.
questions, you're just done.
Yeah. So like the thing with CLAT is it's very unpredictable. There's always gonna be some twist. So be ready for that. Don't just say in that mindset कि अच्छा ऐसे English आएगा ऐसे logical आएगा वैसे मत रहो. Like with GK, I know a lot of people were disappointed with the GK that came this time around, similar to last year. So a lot of people saw that and they got nervous again. Like they got flashbacks. Oh, मेरी सारी मेहनत खराब हो गई. So don't be like that. Just move on. It's okay. You make one mistake, just move on. Just don't stay burdened. Stay unburdened when you're giving the paper and be ready for twists because I'm pretty sure CLAT 2026 is going to be weird as well.
Yeah.
I'm confident.
I think that's what the question makers and the exam makers also harp on, that if you are so prepared and if everything is predictable, then everybody will score high. Just like what happens in board exams. Board exams are largely predictable.
Yeah.
You know what from where the questions are going to come, and so many students get 90 plus. But if that happened in CLAT, how will they decide who's going to get into a good college?
Right,
It's
right,
not.
right.
So it is a test of you uh, handling yourself in unpredictability and uncertain times. And I think so many students just miss out on that fact. When they start their journey, they think, I need to prepare everything and I need to do well at everything. But they clearly miss out the most important aspect of it. That is, you need to also prepare for what you don't know.
Right,
So
definitely.
that does make a difference. How about CLATapult though? Like you have been with us here and there, and then you finally stuck to us in your last few months. So
Right.
how has CLATapult helped you and worked out for you in your journey?
Yeah, so it worked out pretty well, as you can see.
Yeah.
Definitely. I really like the material that was provided to me. A lot of material was provided to me, and I'm very thankful for that. I don't think I even solved all of it because there was
Right.
so much, but it was great, whatever I did solve. And the mocks were great, and the teachers were great. So it was like a very exciting concept for me, like studying from actual students. I hadn't seen that before. So I think that is something very unique to Cladapult and very interesting. So that's why I was attracted to this institution. That's why my parents were also so
Yeah.
convinced. Like I would get first-hand knowledge of the
Yeah.
people who wrote the paper.
Right.
So that's why I really
Yeah.
like this
It's a
institute.
very direct route
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
connecting with people
Yeah,
who are already at a place that
you
you
want
want
to
to
be.
be at. Right. That makes sense. But anything useful that you would think would help students, or anything that's unique to your journey that you think anybody can learn lessons from, or you would want to share just in
Yeah,
general?
YouTube. YouTube is my
Yeah.
my biggest recommendation. If you're weak at maths, just go watch like class 10th math videos for ICSE and
Yeah.
CBSE. Go watch that. If you can learn everything by YouTube, and it's like such a helpful resource.
Yeah.
It's like an open network. It's so helpful, especially for maths. So like
Yeah.
definitely, if you don't understand something in class, just go watch YouTube videos. That would be my biggest recommendation,
But
honestly.
then, that's, I think, thank you for sharing that. But there's so much overload of information on the
Right,
internet and
right,
YouTube. So,
right.
how would you recommend students to figure out what's relevant, what's not really?
I think that is something very personal. People have to find out themselves.
Right.
So I watched a lot of YouTube videos and finally found something that worked for
Works for
me.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something that the person has to decide for themselves and can't necessarily be told. Like I can tell
Right.
you my recommendations, but that might not work for you. So you
Yeah.
have to figure that
Right.
by
Right.
yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Ram, for sharing that with us. And thank you so much for coming on board for this interview. And congratulations once again.
Thank
I
you so
hope you
much.
get into the college that you want. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.